So what's the breakdown? What's the accelerants for this? Well, one is the destruction of the nuclear family. The Bible describes in the beginning, God created them, male and female. He creates Adam. He brings Eve, and it talks about the two shall become one flesh. And then it tells them what? Be fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth. Order matters. But there's micro breakdowns of the family, and then there's macro. And I just want you to see this. Jared and I the other day were told that we're going to have another grandbaby. So Jared and I are looking online. We're looking for onesies. The onesies that say Papa's little fishing man, Omo's little deer hunter, those kind of things, right? And as we're kind of going down through them, I noticed this one here. If mom and dad say no, call grandma. Now, we laugh just like that. We laugh. We thought, oh, that's so cute. Do you realize that's demonic? I mean, I'm laughing as I'm seeing it, and I'm going, that's not funny, but I'm laughing. Why? Because I'm evil in my own heart. I just got to confess that to you. Why is this demonic? Because the fifth commandment says, obey your father and mother, honor your father and mother, and it will be what? Well with you. It's not well with you. You can't have the blessing of God if you're dishonest. Listen, if you can't obey your mom and dad, you can't honor them, you're not going to be able to honor God who you can't see. And so it's a micro breakdown, and we laugh about it. It's not funny. And this is only one example. But you know what's just not at a micro level? It's at a macro level. It's at a cultural level. Now, this is 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but you need to see it. Because this is being propagated everywhere. When you type in nuclear family like the Bible describes, I want you to see how artsy this is. I want you to see how seductive this is. I want you to see how cool this is. I want you to catch with me this chatter that we're going to see right here, this godless chatter, is exactly how you and your children are being seduced, and your grandchildren. I'm telling you, this stuff matters, friends. Watch this.
Families in America have changed a lot over the last several decades. So why are we so worried about these changes? Because the story we're told is there's only one way to be a good family. Meet someone, fall in love, get married, have children, and live happily ever after until death do you part, in that order. The nuclear option. And there's nothing wrong with this story. It may look like your family. Statistically, it probably doesn't, but it might. For too long, the nuclear option has been sold as an American tradition and the only story worth telling. But is this type of family really an American tradition? Not so much. For most of our history, marriage was primarily an economic rather than romantic arrangement. In the agricultural era, for example, men sought wives to work alongside them and to have lots of kids, who would become farmhands as well. Enslaved people weren't even allowed to legally marry or keep their families together because they were considered property. And that 1950s traditional nuclear family we hear so much about, it turns out that even for white middle-class housewives for whom it was available, being dependent on a husband for financial support and social respectability wasn't all that great. Just like so many things have evolved in America, so too has the family. So what do our families really look like today? Most of us live in different types of households over the course of our lives with many different people. Much of the love and connection we need comes from our friends and community, or doesn't require a marriage license. Many of us still get married and have kids, but not necessarily in that order. None of this is bad. What's bad is our country's refusal to evolve alongside families and support them as they are. So who is telling us that something is wrong, that our families are broken? Conservative groups who spend hundreds of millions of dollars to push their version of family values, and all the pundits who echo them. It's time to tell different stories. Truer stories about families in America. Stories of people and families that reflect and celebrate all of us.
Yeah, let's celebrate the brokenness rather than going back to the original design. God, who's the creator and sustainer of all things, who's holy, righteous, and just, who shows us exactly what we should be, what the goal should be. I mean, can you imagine playing basketball? And, well, this happened in our family. One of our grandsons got the ball and he started dribbling. The problem was he was going towards the wrong basket. And you know how that story ended. He made a beautiful shot for the other team. But you know what this is actually describing? It's like getting on the basketball court, and it's like, you can shoot for that hoop. That's nice. That's a nice story. You can shoot for that hoop. That's a nice story. But you can shoot anywhere and still make a basket. Friends, God has a plan. This is artsy. This is cool. This is seductive. But it's not true. And it doesn't matter when I'm preaching in Africa or South America or Latin America or Asia. God's standard, by the way, it's not Western, it's not white. Where did the Bible come from? This is so seductive. So seductive.